This is the story of Jack Gemstone, a teenage boy who, as most teens, is up to a lot of mischief. He lived in the castle in the clouds. This wondrous castle had towers climbing high into the sky. Some were so high that at times it seemed like they might catch the moon on a clear night. The walls were strong and old, yet however old the castle was, it showed little of its age. Most of the walls seemed like they had just been set down. This is a mystery known only to the masons who built the castle. One thing Jack loved doing was to climb onto the roof of one of the towers and gaze into the distance. The castle was built at the edge of a plateau. Some of the walls stood so close to the edge of the cliff that Jack sometimes wondered how they had not fallen off yet. On some days he was lucky. The clouds at the edge of the plateau cleared enough for him to see mountains and rivers, forests and fields. He sat there for hours, imagining the adventures to be found in those faraway lands. One day, as the sun was setting, he could hear one of the maids calling him to do the stable duties he had been ignoring all day. It sounded like it was Maribel. She was a wonderful and gentle woman, but he didn't want to be caught by her. She could be quite terrifying. But Jack also didn't want to be a stable boy. It was a boring job. At last, only a sliver of the sun remaining to be seen over the clouds, casting its last rays of golden light, skating over the world, Jack reluctantly climbed down. Slowly he trundled to the stables to start his neglected chores. Jack was still lost in his thoughts when he went past the ladies' quarters, where Maribel caught sight of him. Like lightning she came rushing up behind him and caught him by his ear. He got quite the scolding as she dragged him to the stablemaster. Everyone they met quickly got out of the way. Jack was always amazed how strong she was. That evening he went to bed without a dinner. Thus life went by, the lord of the castle not seeming to care for a lowly stable boy. But Jack was carefree too. What did it matter if he didn't do his chores? The worst that could happen was a scolding, and then only if he got caught. Jack was free to roam throughout most of the castle. The one place where he was not allowed to go was the vault in the dungeons of the castle, which was closely guarded. Often, while dreaming in his tower, he was consumed with curiosity. What was in the vault? Why was it always so closely guarded? One day, by chance, the vault door stood open, and none of the guards seemed to be around either. So Jack decided to sneak in to get a peek. He had heard wondrous tales of the treasures inside. Everyone speculated about the contents of the vault. He had to find out. When he entered the room, there were the most beautiful statues and gems, some of them as big as an orange, others were smaller and fashioned into different kinds of jewelry. Jack was amazed at the sight. He did not know where to look, wanting to spend ages walking between the glittering marvels. The nervousness at doing something he wasn't supposed to do was gone. It was wiped away by an absolute awe at his surroundings. One stone drew Jack's particular attention. It was in the middle of the room on an intricately decorated marble pedestal. Obviously, it was a particularly precious stone. Slowly he approached it, completely entranced by its polished surface. It appeared to have a gentle glow about it. He reached out gently, feeling the surface. Suddenly he heard the shuffling steps of the Master of Keys. In his fright, Jack turned and knocked the stone off its pedestal. Jack's heart stopped as he watched the awe-inspiring gem fall. There was nothing he could do to stop it. When the gemstone hit the ground, it shattered into 1,000 pieces. Even the shards that were spread all over the floor still had a stunning beauty to them. The shuffling steps paused for a moment, and then turned into a hurried run. Jack ran for the door as fast as he could, just barely getting out before being trapped by the wheezing keymaster. But even though the old master of keys was slow, he still caught sight of Jack as he slipped around the next corner. He could hear the old man calling to him to come back. But Jack could only think of getting out of the castle as fast as possible. There was no way he would get out of this incident with only being scolded. Jack ran up frantically to his sleeping cot next to the horses. He grabbed the bag with the things he went exploring with, as well as his short bow. Jack's heart was beating so hard he couldn't think. He just ran. He ran right out of the front gate. As he reached the tree line, the bells of the castle started ringing in alarm. There was no way Jack could go back, not without finding another gem to make this right.